Maganadak. Papate Wizi, Magazine Agabi Wanang episode Nadijinakas. Makud Dudem, Bashkadang Dunji.
I, Jerilee Ryle of the City of Winnipeg in the province of Manitoba, do solemnly swear in the presence of and while holding this eagle feather.
It was important for me that I opened my remarks in the language that should have been my first language, that I introduced myself in a way that I should have been born into, instead of reclaiming later in life. This loss of language, culture, and ultimately identity are prominent features in the legacy of colonization. The prohibition on Indigenous cultural practices and ceremonies was in fact legislated by law. From 1884 until 1951, Section 149 of the Indian Act prohibited the practice of ceremonies. The healing practices that could have helped deal with the trauma of forced displacement and the residential school systems were rendered illegal. Due process was not available to Indigenous peoples under the Indian Act, as Section 141 prohibited the hiring of lawyers without permission of the Department of Indian Affairs. That section remained in effect until 1951. I highlight this to show the evolution of law, how law changes to reflect the values of society, and to show how far we have collectively come as a country. It wasn't that long ago that the only acceptable place for an Indigenous person to be in a courtroom was in the prisoner's box. It took the voices of brave leaders of Gitchadag. I am not the first Indigenous judge. The Honourable Murray Sinclair Bunn was Manitoba's first. I'm also not the first Indigenous female to hold this position. The Honourable Judge Redhead, who I'm now honoured to call a colleague and friend, became Manitoba's first Indigenous female judge when she was appointed in 2007 in Thompson. I am deeply aware that I walk in the footsteps of those who paved the way. I hope that in some small way my contribution helps light the path forward for those who come next. The core values of respect, love, courage, honesty, wisdom, humility, and truth are the foundation of a strong and just society. When these values are upheld, they create space for healing, unity, and meaningful reconciliation that benefits everyone. What I carry into this honorable position are these lived experiences, teachings, and values that have shaped me and that will continue to guide my path forward as I duly, faithfully, and to the best of my knowledge and ability, perform and fulfill the duties and requirements of the office of Judge of the Provincial Court of Manitoba. Mubach.